Okay, and we're back and we're going to have a look at what is actually thriving in this less than ideal greenhouse at the moment. I've recently done a video, in fact a few minutes ago, all about what's wrong with the light in here, why the light is less than it usually is, and what the adverse effects of that are. But today we are going to have a look at what is actually thriving and what is actually getting enough light, and maybe some plants are even doing better because of that slight lack of direct sun through the glass. So let's get on with it and have a look at what is thriving in my greenhouse right now. And we are in. Okay, so we're going to start straight away with this Gibbasis. So Tradescantia lovers, and I know this isn't a Tradescantia, but it is in the Commonalaceae family, and you can see already how well it's doing. This just thrives on neglect. This is such a beautiful version of the Commonalaceae family, and I say that because a lot of them do this kind of thing where, as you can see with this one, you get all the horrible leaves and it just generally gets worse and worse as it gets older. These in particular, these Nanook, I would definitely always renew. As soon as it starts going like this, in fact you can just do it anyway, you start to take cuttings, and these always look better with a pot of nice new young shoots, new young cuttings. If you do that, then you'll never have a horrible one, or you can also hide that around the back and just use it for cuttings. But this Gibbasis, so it's got these beautiful little flowers on, very sweet. And what I like about this in particular is it doesn't seem to do anywhere near as bad as a lot of the other Tradescantia, where they go brown and you get the leaf marks. You certainly don't get the leaf marks. Of course, you're going to get brown leaves eventually. No leaves last forever on any plant. But you can see that beautiful colouring with that gorgeous green edging. It really sets it off. Then once you get these sweet little blooms on it as well, then it really, I think, is something nice to look at. So that's my first thing to look at that seems to be thriving despite the conditions of the lower light levels this year. And down here we've got a Rhinanthera. So this one is Rhinanthera citrina crossed with Monachica. I bought this in April of 2019 and it has actually flowered a few times for me. This is the first in a few years, I think, a couple of years. Doing pretty well there. The first few blooms that came out on this spike were a little bit twisted, don't know why. It's not been sprayed with anything. Could possibly be slugs. We do have slugs in here, there's trails dotted about the place. I find it difficult to catch them at this time of year because obviously they only come out when it's dark, and guess what? You know, I'm 55, I go to bed at 9 o'clock. It's still light, so the slugs aren't yet out. So I will hopefully soon be able to get in here when it's dark and catch some of these little critters. But yeah, that's a lovely thing, isn't it? That's doing really well. I'm really happy with that. So what else have we got to look at that I said was thriving at this time of the year? So Cymbidium. Now, wouldn't you think Cymbidiums would do much better in highlight levels? It's certainly not got it in here, but this bloomed through the, I'd say, late winter this year. Then it bloomed about 3 weeks ago, and now we have 3 more spikes on it. Don't know why. I did repot it actually over the winter. Maybe that's helped. So maybe it's just blooming, you know, because of the repot, despite the fact that the conditions aren't ideal in here. Never been able to get this to bloom yet. This is a Clivia. I do believe they take a while, and again the light isn't that great in here. So we have a Syngonium down here. This is left over from the hothouse. So this is a Syngonium albo variegata. What I will do with this, you've got to be careful because these green leaves do tend to take over and it reverts. A tiny little bit of variegation on there, but these are the leaves that we want. It struggled a bit through the winter, as you can imagine. I did allow the temperatures to go down to probably about 7, I think, at some point. What I did do actually, which is well worth knowing, that if the temperatures are going up in the day, once you get it up in here so that it's about 20 in the day, you can allow the nighttime temperatures to go down more. So at that point I just put the heaters on so that it was just off frosty, so it didn't go frosty, about 5 degrees, something like that. Providing it's going warmer in the day, you can get away with it. But if during the day it's not going any higher than that, then a lot of these plants will succumb and keel over, you know, at those kind of temperatures day and night. There's a beautiful scent in here, and has been for the last 6 weeks because of the Prostechia radiata. This is a plant that is such bang for its buck because you've got the blooms and they last forever. They really do last a long time, and the scent is glorious. I can smell it as soon as I walk in, day or night. They just keep giving off that gorgeous scent, and I've got 3 bloom spikes on it this year. It's looking a little dehydrated, but I'm not worried about that. I'll sort that out at some point. A lot of things in here are looking a bit neglected because they are, because I'm spending all my time working. That's a really nice new lip on that Nepenthes. This is the Loei crossed with Ventricosa. This is probably my favourite one. Well, they're all favourites, aren't they, when they do the thing. So let's move on. We've got a King Sundew over here. I did grow this from seed, but it's gone huge for me. This is the biggest it's been by far. So some of these leaves are, that's probably about 30 centimetres that. That's doing really well. Got a few little bugs on it there. Excuse me. So we have a mixture of Drosera here. Now you can see on this one, so this one is Drosera something or other, dicotta something. I can't quite read it. I'm not taking it out because I've only got one hand and it'll pull it off. Something like Dichotoma giant, something like that. You can see these are beginning to crisp up, and that's because of the temperatures that we've been getting this last couple of days. We've had a little mini heat wave, but it just keeps coming with new ones, so that's fine. Cephalotus doing really well. They're happy in these kind of temperatures. Just keep checking them for some of the older pictures, because obviously it's producing new ones. See when they go like that? I love doing this. When they go all soft, you can just pull them off like that, and it's a nice easy way of cleaning them up. You'll also notice there's a little bit of mildew on there. One of the sprays, the fungicides, does really well to get rid of that. Drosera latifolia. Some of these Drosera, and I know somebody did mention this once to me, and I agree, it's difficult to make a video about Drosera because there are temperate ones and there are tropical ones. So some of them do die down naturally, some of them don't. Some of them have seasons, some of them don't. Like for example, this one here, you can just about see the dead spike there. Drosera modesta, that one does die down, it comes up in winter. This latifolia, I thought it had died. You can see the dead ones around there, but there's a new one coming up in the middle. Same with this one over here. That's the old Capensis, died down, new one coming up. So don't always chuck them out when you think they've gone. This one over here looks like it's died, but there's a few more coming on it. They can return if you're patient. So that's a nice one, but we need all these little bits of moss getting rid of. So that's Drosera slackii, nice little red thing there. So let's move on to what else is doing well at the moment. I've got a few Streptocarpus, but none of them, I don't think, none of them are looking really that great. This is definitely my worst display of Streptocarpus, but like I said previously, this is down to lack of light. As far as I'm concerned anyway, I'm quite sure as soon as the light improves, they will increase their robustness. So we're going to have a look at an old favourite here, Impatiens niamensis. Now its sister, there was another Impatiens, or Impatiens I should say, shouldn't I, that I had here, and it rotted over winter unfortunately. This one didn't, but I had to cut it right back. You can see it's full of blooms now. I'm sorry if it's flickering. If I turn these lights off, you'll not see anything. It's that flipping dark in here. Next to it, you know, these things, I love them when they do well. Borregia Nelliila, but they all go like this. They all struggle for whatever reason. I should cut that off because it looks disastrous. I need to try and rescue the orchid. I don't know why it's gone like that. They all just seem to do that for me. The Mandevilla, again, it did really well early in the year, but for whatever reason, there's only one bloom up there, so if you can see that. Are we on it? There we go. But the rest of it's putting out plenty of new leaves, plenty of twining things, twining shoots, but it's not flowering like it normally does at this time of year. And again, I can only put that down to lack of light. There's another Tradescantia over here, an albiflora, which is doing really well. Again, it's quite pretty when it gets its little blooms out like that there. These do very well for me, and eventually, and I've seen this before, once that gets to a certain size, it will just decide, right, that's it, and it'll start chucking dead leaves all over the place, and it'll just look dreadful, and that's the point when you've just got to start again. One thing that does seem to like the dark, Dracula orchids. So this one is Dracula chimera. As soon as I took that from a hanging basket, put it in some moss, put a tray in underneath, put it in a really dark spot, then it started growing really nicely again. That's why it's called the Dracula orchid, because they like the dark. Some more little orchids doing well down here. This one, you've seen this one before. I've had this one for years. This one is I actually divided the rhizome. So this is Brassia Orange Delight. For some reason it seems very yellow this year. We have some Achimenes which are new. So this one is an Achimenes Stands Delight. Let's just get their beautiful flowers. I do like these. I think these are in the, are they in the same family as Streptocarpus? They could be, I can't remember. That's looking very, very nice. There's another one down there which hasn't quite come into, well, there it is. Yeah, that looks the same. I wonder if it's the same plant. I can't remember. As I say, I can't look, I can't grab it out because I've only got one hand. There's another little one down there, the yellow one. That's just coming into bloom now. So it's Caleria Brazil Gem. These are definitely the same family because they're all very, very similar. You know I like my Caleria. I did get a number of new Caleria over winter, but they've just not come. Whatever it is about the conditions didn't work, and they've just not come. We've got, like, as you can see over here, there's quite a selection here. Things are beginning to grow very, very strongly. Now look at this. Look what's happened to it. It's been slugged, and I can't find this slug. I keep looking under pots, but I can't find what's done the damage. But it's still a nice orchid, apart from the fact that it's been slugged to death. Why do they eat flowers? It's a Cattleya hybrid. I don't know what it is. Or do I? Yeah, there might be there's another one here. It could be Rhyncholaliocattleya Cheonggu-Linnet. As you can tell, I've not been in here for a while. All I'm doing at the moment is I'm basically just, it's like firefighting. I'm keeping things going. I'm not doing anything in terms of improving things, which is not what I like to do, but you know, work comes first, money comes first, alas. Pelargoniums have been in bloom, a lot of them have been in bloom, but they're like in a bit of a sleepy point at the moment. You can see these ones are going over now. There's a load of pelargoniums. Sorry about the quick movement over here. That one's just coming out again. This is what they do. They come out, they go into like a quiet period again while they recover, then they come out again. But again, they are bright light plants, and they're not enjoying the fact that there isn't that much light in here at the moment. Even with, you know, my eyes are telling me there's not much light, so there definitely isn't that much light. What else? We've got a nice little phal over here. Now this is a scented one. It's only a hybrid, but it is scented. Nice, pretty thing. They're all as nice to see, aren't they? Even though I know they're like weeds. People think they're like weeds, but they are still the pretty. I like them. Penthes, again, I'm struggling to keep these watered. This is why they're crisping up. And over here, which is a good example of, or a good bit of an indication that I've not been in here for a long time. I'm not managing to keep up with things because my workspace is an absolute disaster. It's a mess. This poor Nepenthes, I just couldn't keep it hydrated enough, and I think that's had it. I'll give it another chance, but I think it's had it. I had to move my Phragmipedium. It was in the dark, did nothing, and as soon as I've moved it to a bit of a lighter spot, we've got all the new growths on, so I'll have to find a better place for that. I did repot it, but that obviously wasn't enough. It needed more light. As you can see, tons of begonias to show you, but I'm going to do that on a separate video. I'm also going to talk about some of the cyclamen on a separate video. What else have I not mentioned? I think that might be it for now. Oh, the Escananthus in the corner. I love this. I love the leaves. I love the marble leaves. Don't buy it for the flowers. You won't even notice them. The green on this particular marbled type. This is Longicorlia, something like that. And it is a species, but you know, the species generally are not that great for flowers, are they? This one has had a load of beautiful flowers on it, but this is coming off. I'm going to have to do something about that. That's come away somehow. So yeah, that's where we're up to. So some of the things are doing well, some of the things not doing so well. That is always the case. Even if I had a lot of light, there's going to be plants that don't like the fact that it's rained so much this year. It's really increased the humidity, and that has an effect. If it hadn't rained, if it had been sunny all year, which we occasionally get, some other plants wouldn't have thrived. When you've got such a mix like I have, that's what happens, and you just get used to it. Tell me in the comments how you've coped this year with your particular conditions. I know some people are having really hot weather, especially over in Europe. Other people aren't having such great weather. I know this year, for us in the UK, the jet stream has steadfastly stayed in the southward position, meaning that we've not had great weather at all. It's just rained and rained and rained. We've had this so-called mini heat wave recently, which lasted all of about 2 days. And then today we're forecast back to rain and cooler temperatures all next week. I don't think it's going much beyond about 20 next week, which is a shame, but I don't care because I'm going on my holidays soon. Going to Sorrento in Italy. That'll be good, won't it? I'm sure it'll be nice weather over there. So tell me in the comments how things are going. I'm going to go straight into my next video now, which I think will be about the cyclamen. So I might see you over on that one. See you on the next one. Bye.